Richie, good morning to you. It's been a very subduing few days for everyone in the cricket community, particularly for the Channel 9 community. I'd like to ask firstly, was Tony really the larger-than-life figure that he was keen to portray?
Well, I'm not too sure about the wording there that he was keen to portray. I think it was just a natural portrayal that he was larger than life. That was the way he was from the time he came from South Africa and went to play for Sussex and made a century on debut there against Lancashire. And that was when they had 3 test bowlers in their side. So he was larger than life then. And he didn't let any bowler know that they were just on the field on a certain amount of sufferance. He made it clear with a bit of finger pointing and perhaps a clenched fist.
When you look at his figures, 3,599 runs at 40, 141 test wickets at 32, they're very impressive stats. How did you rate him, firstly as an all-rounder and then particularly as a captain?
Well, I'll go backwards there. I thought he was an outstanding captain. I saw a lot of him in England because I did 36 years television on BBC and he was playing at that time. And I thought his leadership qualities were very good. He made some mistakes. He was prepared to admit them. As a cricketer and an all-rounder, I thought he was right up in the top bracket. Now, there are various people who have scored 1,000 runs in Test cricket, taken 100 wickets. He was well up there. Perhaps one of the indications of what a player he was came in 1974 when England were touring West Indies and England had to win the last match if they were to square the series. And he's a medium pacer, could be quite quick at times, sharp. That's probably the best way to describe his bowling. But in that match he studied the pitch and he didn't bowl any medium pace, he bowled off spin. Got 13 wickets, England won the match with 26 runs to spare, and it was one of the most wonderful pieces of thinking I've ever come across in Test match cricket, that a bowler overnight would change just because he thought the conditions would suit a certain type of bowling, and then take 13 wickets and win the match.
He was also a very good catcher, wasn't he, for his size, particularly close to the wicket. He had good hands, very good catcher as well. I mean, he really did have fine all-round capability.
Yes, he did, and a lot of his catches were taken, as you say, close to the wicket. How would you like to have short leg standing there about 4 feet higher than you are, and with hands like great hunks just waiting for the ball to go somewhere where he could dive and take it? That would be putting a certain amount of pressure on any player.
His name will always be inextricably linked with Kerry Packer and World Series cricket, and of course, as will your name always be associated with the dramatic evolution of the game at that period in the mid-70s. How do you look back on that period and Tony's role, and how proud was he, or was he proud of that involvement in the dramatic evolution of the game?
Well, all the drama around that didn't just revolve around Tony, because Benaud and Associates were the sports consultants to World Series cricket. So we were right on our toes there to make sure that that would work well. And it moved slowly for a while, and then the whole face of cricket around the world has changed. The day-night match that was here, eventually with permission from the state government, that turned things completely around, and World Series cricket was an enormous success. Just as a matter of interest, not many people know how World Series cricket ended. People know how it started, they don't know how it ended. Something like 13th of February 1979, Kerry Packer picked up his telephone and rang someone in Adelaide. And at the other end, Don Bradman said good morning, and Kerry said, "It's Kerry Packer here. I want to have morning tea with you this morning at 10 Holden Street, Adelaide. The number has changed, but it was Holden Street, Adelaide. And Sir Donald said, well, he said, that may be difficult. He said, how are you going to get here? He said, I have my jet waiting for me at the airport. We'll fly into Adelaide Airport and park on the far side, so no one is aware that I'm there. My driver will then drive me to 10 Holden Street, and I'd like to have a short conversation with you. So that was done. Lady Bradman made morning tea, then she went out, and Kerry said, I'll get straight to the point. I want World Series cricket to end, and I want the cricket authorities to take it over again. He said, I don't want to own cricket. He said, but for your information, tomorrow we are listed to sign another 53 players from around the world. He said, if you come in and do what I want and take over the game, all you have to do is get those television rights for me, and then the game will be completely yours again. So Sir Donald said, you can rely on me. I'm at chairing the meeting in 2 days' time. I'll be in touch with you to tell you that that has been done. When Don sat down in the meeting as chairman, he said, no one will leave this room until everything I want is completed. And it took all of 5 minutes for that to happen. And that was the way it ended. Terry got in his jet, flew back, got the television rights, and Tony Grieg, through all this, was Kerry's right-hand man. He was signing up West Indian players who trusted him, signing up players from all over the world. And he did a terrific job and a very brave job.
What were his strengths as a commentator? We've heard about his strengths as a player and as a leader, his strengths as a commentator.
As a commentator, his strength was exactly the way he was in life. If I had one word, which I've been asked about a couple of times, to describe Tony, the word is strong. Strong. Now, it may be that that word strong and his strength of character would come into things where I might ask his advice on something. He'd say, I'll go away and think about that and come back to you. And you'd be expecting the answer you wanted, and you wouldn't get it. He'd gone off and done some more research, so his strength was in research and knowing everything about the game and people. It was fascinating to work with him, and a great pleasure.
We were chatting before when Jim was talking about marathon cricket and the importance of it to the primary club. And I know you've always, since its inauguration, you've been heavily involved with marathon cricket. Was something said to you last year at the game that sparked particular interest?
Well, marathon cricket I've always thought is very, very good. But there was something said to me over there when the marathon cricket was on. And the chap came up to me, and he was in umpiring gear, and I said to him hello, we shook hands, he told me who he was, and he said, I'm standing here talking to you with an umpire's jacket on. He said, I am an umpire, but in about 6th or 7th grade juniors, but I love it. I'm there every Saturday, umpire sometimes on Sundays, and umpiring is something I've always loved. And I've come to the SCG at times and looked at the umpires and thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if I could just be out there in the centre? And the primary club has made that possible for him and for other people. And there are all sorts of things I love about the primary club. Because it helps disadvantaged people, but that is one thing that's been done. Players get out there on the SCG and the marathon cricket, umpires do, officials do, they're welcomed, and for many of them it is the achievement of a lifetime.
Richie, good to see you as ever. I know you've got very heavy commitments today, heavier than normal because of the tributes that the Nine Network will be paying to Tony. Thank you for your time and for your commitment as a patron of the primary club. Ladies and gentlemen, our patron, Richie Benaud.